Let's go. Make your post real quick. Of course,
Cool.
Gotta push it out. What do you think of the old sky cam here?
This is cool, dude.
Little Nashville cam.
I feel like I'm on the news, bro.
You are on the news. Welcome.
So the link that
go ahead.
Okay. No, we're good. I'm just gonna use the link that you posted.
The YouTube video link. It's also live on Facebook and it's also live on LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
Wow. We're
right?
doing it, man. We're doing it.
We're national. We're international. Crushing it.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
So, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here.
I know you're traveling right now. Where are you at?
So I'm in West Virginia.
West Virginia. And that's where your family's
at,
right?
Yeah. I have some family here.
Yeah. Is it Kyra's side or is it your side that's there? Because I know you have family in Florida too.
Yeah, my side.
Okay, gotcha. Cool, man. Well, dude, stoked to have you on. We've had you on agency therapy a couple different times now. We've done like a live one together in the apartment building. We've done some online ones as well. So I think most of the audience knows you already and what you do. But if you guys are joining us for the first time and don't know John Danes owns a digital marketing agency called Lead Jolt. Lead Jolt is a 7-figure agency. They provide leads to two real estate owners, and then he's now launching his second agency, which is called
mortgagemeetings.com.
mortgagemeetings.com. So very similar as far as like the niche goes. They're just they're pivoting 2 degrees and going into another vertical, which is pretty cool. So stoked to have you, man. Obviously like taking on a second agency, that's not an easy task. It's hard enough to run one. Why two? What in your mental is just like, you know what, we can handle 2. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
To me, it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like the most logical next step, because I do feel as though and I think that there's like clear evidence that these agencies have a certain cap in which they're going to scale to, which we've seen with I think there's pretty finite. Like if anybody wanted to debate that, I'd be happy to debate that, because it's like everybody in the agency space either goes and starts a coaching company or they go start another agency or whatever. So it's like, to me, that's evidence that agencies have a cap. And for me, it just made more sense to go, like you said, 2 degrees over and get another agency going in a pretty adjacent niche. It's not like we're doing, automotive shops or something that's super, super different. So, for us, it's like, I feel like there's a certain cap with agencies. I don't feel like my agency has hit that cap by any means. Like Lead Jolt, I don't feel like we're at our ceiling. But I feel like we could get another agency spinning. And I think it also makes sense with our traffic as well. So we run a lot of paid traffic, and we naturally are getting a lot of mortgage loan officers already, and we're having to turn them away. So it made sense to say, okay, let's do it. And Michael, if you want to debate, bro, send me $5 million a month lead generation agencies that you know of off the top of your head. I'd love to see them.
Michael, if you want to jump in here with us, just let me know. I can drop you the link and you can join in.
$5 mil a month lead gen agencies.
Yeah, there you go. So the biggest thing too is I know we've chatted about this a few times just in private. Is acquisition was something that you guys were really wanting to do at some point in time. Is get your agency acquired, and but in order to do that, it's in order to get the multiple that you guys were searching for, Lead Jolt probably wasn't going to be the thing to get you there. Now you start stacking 1, 2, 3 agencies on top of each other, and you do more of a roll-up model. Man, the opportunity to then take that roll-up and sell it is much higher, right? Which I know came top of mind with you guys, right? So freaking Michael wants to jump in with us.
Let's have him jump in.
Bring him in for a second.
Yeah,
dropping the link for you. I'm just dropping it in chat.
Cool.
If you're not Michael, don't join. I'm not gonna let you in. So, yeah, man. So that's such an interesting topic of discussion. Is like, hey, like, when's the right opportunity to go into a different niche? At what point in time were you like, this was the right time to expand to a second niche?
Yeah. So, for us, I don't know. It just seemed kind of like a good decision to make. Um, it just seemed kind of like a logical decision to make. I guess
Yeah.
we bought the domain for this niche in, I want to say late July. And
Yeah, it's been in the
yeah,
works for a minute.
yeah, it's been in the works for a while. Still haven't really launched yet or taken on any clients for it yet, but
Yeah.
we're planning probably January 1st. We'll do a hard launch.
Yeah.
We're not really in a rush to get it going. It's going to be, but yeah, like Adam said, it really is the same niche. We're already helping a lot of mortgage loan officers already. We just help them through our real estate agents. So it's like we have a platform to kind of help them
Yeah.
scale. And yeah, it just made sense. It just seemed like a logical decision. You know how some stuff just makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah, 100%. Michael jumped in. Let's bring him in real fast. I'll get rid of the
He's got the beanie on.
the old sky cam here.
This guy goes from being in like Hawaii and like paradise to just being like freaking freezing. I'm sure.
What if I did this, Josh, and ended up above, like behind you, and you're just like, "What the hell?"
I might have to give you a little kiss.
Yo, so
Nice.
I've considered it heavily.
Oh, here's Mike.
Well.
I want to show them the common move Michael's hitting. Common move in the entrepreneurial space.
He's
hitting one of these on.
I don't mean to do that, man. I do this like so much. No, I'll cover it. I'll take it off. I don't even care. This thing's scratched up so much. Like
I know, dude. They're
it's
scratch
like
magnets, bro.
The daily driver. But so I didn't know you meant like $1 million a month. But the question there would be then, if you're not at $1 million a month, like why are you doing something else already?
Yeah. The main reason is because we're getting a lot of traffic already from mortgage loan officers, and almost this offer, although it's branded under a different niche, it's almost just like a second division within the same company. So we're calling it sort of a sister company, but I wanted to brand them separately.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
So
yeah.
We get a lot of people. So we get a lot of people on sales calls now that we straight up paid to speak to them, and we're telling them, hey dude, we can't help you, or we're going to refer them out. We might as well just package together an offering for those people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Totally.
So that was kind of like the logical.
Because I've thought about the same thing, because we essentially did a good job at branding as like
contractors,
but we've got multiple different branches underneath that.
Yeah.
And so I was going to do like landscapingleads.com, hardscapingleads.com, and like have these different branches.
Yeah.
But
because they're adjacent to your niche.
And it makes sense, that they're adjacent, right? But I guess I see what you're saying with that. I don't know but I was kind of at the same place of like, okay, you see like tons of people at like 50 to 100K.
Yeah.
But after 100K, there's like
slim pickings,
7 people.
Yeah.
Like literally. Or you see that, and then you see they go outside of lead gen and they do software and they do full stack, and they're like,
or coaching.
Yeah. Like marketing 360.
Yeah.
I think a good example of this, and I need to have him on Agency Therapy sometime, is Stevie Johnston.
I just DM'd him, asked him to hop on a Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Very interested.
But also, it's like I think there are some sort of like economies of scale with agencies. Of like at a certain point, it does go a little bit slower. He's been building his agency for over 5 years now, and so for him to be where he's at now, and I don't know if I don't know if his numbers directly. I know he brings about 200K to the bottom line every month, and so.
Awesome.
For him, like that took him 5 years, and like we look at your guys' agency journey as well. It's like you guys have just been in it for 2-3 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's like having that time horizon and where you guys are at now, it's like you guys have a lot of room for probably optimization. You probably have a lot of room for continued growth. It's just continuing to work out your own systems, and for him, he's got below a 4% churn.
How many members of staff does he have?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like I should
He
honestly
said,
bring him on and do an interview with him.
I binged his YouTube the other day. He only has a couple videos on there. Some of them are like pretty old, but it was one that was like 4 months old, and I think it said he had like 20 something people on his team. But I don't know if that's like W-2 or contract, or you know what I mean. Like that could be $500 a month, a couple people, but no, I definitely hit him up though. But and that's what I was gonna say is I think the scaling problem then is it's a churn problem to scale a lead gen agency, because most guys are amazing at getting leads, but keeping the people is the way to scale. And that's like, so anyways,
sure.
I'll leave. It's John
100%
Dane's time.
agree. And I think it's
I
also,
love this conversation though.
We love you,
100%.
bro.
Dude, look how cute we are. Hold on a second.
He's really smart.
Are we going to get a little pic real quick?
Okay. Boom. Sick.
Let's go.
All right.
Michael, you'll be coming on Agency Therapy next month, correct? I believe we have a time.
I don't know.
For December? I think we have a time.
Was it December? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So cool. December, you'll be coming on. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be fun.
Cool. All right. Here I go.
All right. See you, buddy.
Just kidding. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, bro. Yeah, I think it's also a thing of hiring too. Like, I think that's also like a big reason that it's a little bit harder to scale, because it's like a lot of times, and we're still trying to figure out the perfect balance to this, is like being able to project how many new clients you're going to have coming on board in a single month, and then projecting how many hires you need to accurately service all the new people coming on board.
Yeah.
And then the challenge is like staying profitable between doing that, because it's like, if you go ahead and do a bunch of hiring, and then you don't hit your projection, well, then you're probably going to lose money. And then if you hire too late, well, then you're going to lose money, because you're going to lose the clients, because they're going to feel underserviced and they're not going to feel like anybody cares about them. So I think that's another thing too that we're trying to figure out. But I think that also like adds to Michael's point of how important the retention piece is, because if you just have a good base of clients, well, then you don't need. So the biggest thing that I wish I could change about our agency is that we always need to hit home runs every month. I wish we could have a month where we enroll 7 people and it's like, okay, whatever, and
you still grew, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so like, that's the main thing. And that's what Michael's point was, right? It's like, it's really the most important thing, because you can just enroll people like crazy. I'm speaking from experience, but if you're not able to keep them, and then more importantly than keeping them is like getting them to pay more, which I don't know if a lot of people have figured that out yet, of how to get, clients in the lead gen space, and then get them to buy bigger packages and spend more money and then scale that way. So yeah, for me, that's kind of some of my thoughts. I mean, everything Michael said, spot on. We agree on a lot of stuff, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have very similar models and both run 6-figure per month agencies, So with that being said, man, like it's such a good point of conversation around churn, right? Something that I talk about quite often. It's something that, in transparency, and I'm sure you're okay with sharing this, is something that you guys kind of struggled with for a minute
really
there.
Struggled big time.
Yeah.
And not to pat myself on the own back, but just across some of my peers, I struggled. And what I've understood is like my struggle was like better than most people. That was the scary part, is like, we were at a point where at our highest, we were probably at like 10% a month churn. And there's other agencies that were doing like 20, 25%. And that shouldn't be the benchmark. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people, but it's like, I was struggling at 10% churn a month, and there's other people that are doing 25. I genuinely don't know how these people were keeping their doors open. So it's freaking crazy. It's a huge problem across agencies, and like not a lot of people talking about it. So yeah, sorry to cut you off.
Why do you think people struggle with it so much? Is it results driven? Is it communication driven?
Yeah, I think there's buckets. When me and Adam first started having this problem, we said there's buckets. So we felt like there was results, communication, and then like coaching is one too. So you're maybe not coaching the clients accurately. And then another thing is like speed of response. Because you could have great communication, but if it takes you 4 days to respond, kind of like they cancel each other out, in my opinion. So I think it's a multitude of things. Oh, and then another bucket we had was like money. We would run into people that would literally run out of money. Like they would be like, I can't pay you guys anymore. which was really unfortunate. So that's kind of a pricing thing. But I think that I think it breaks down into a majority of reasons. For us, me and Adam always did when we started, and I think Adam's here in the chat, but me and Adam used to sit around the table and we used to always say, well, if we get X amount of clients paying X per month, we're making this much money, this much profit, XYZ. And I think every agency owner, whether they do that out loud or internally, they do that. And then you get to a point where the clients aren't clients, they're just numbers. And then your whole team starts to look at them like numbers. And then you start to build sort of an unhealthy relationship where even I've seen in my own team where it's just like, oh, that's just like a client, we'll get another one. It's so easy to enroll people. No big deal. If they leave, we'll replace them tomorrow. And that used to be our mindset, especially when we were first getting started. And that started with me and Adam. So it's not, it's not like our team started that. It started.
How do you change that culture?
I think the thing is you have to get everybody, and we're still even working on this too, but like you have to get everybody around the mission of like, we got to help these clients succeed. And then you have to get the whole team invested in the journey of like the clients succeeding. So for us, it's like really just being outcome driven and like dependent for the clients. Like the one thing I could say about Michael above all else is like, you can tell that this dude actually cares about whether his clients are getting results or not. And like the vibe that I get from most agency owners that I've met that are doing substantial revenue is like, I don't get the vibe that they really care. Am I saying that, like they're grifters or something like that? No, but I just think that like I've talked to a lot of people and you can just tell like they don't really care. And if you don't care, people are going to feel that you don't care. Me and you, Josh, we've both been in coaching programs for a fact where we felt like these people don't really care about us. They don't care about our goals. They don't care about what we want. And if you're doing that as an agency owner, your clients are going to know and they're going to leave. Yep. So I think that's a big thing, is just really caring about the results for your clients, doing anything you can for them to win. And then I think another thing is the speed and clarity of response, being able to respond quickly, but also being able to be accurate in your response, not just saying like, hey, we'll get back to you soon, but actually being able to give clear responses and actually solve problems. And then I think just coaching the clients has been big for us. We work with a lot of real estate agents that are newer, and that some of them have trouble like converting, or they don't know what to do. And I think sometimes people are embarrassed to reach out and ask questions. So for us, it's like been a lot of coaching as well. So I think there's multiple buckets. It's not as simple of a problem to solve as sales, right? Whereas like if you're not closing people, you can listen to a call and you can understand like, hey, you probably should have said this, probably should have asked for this and done this, and you're probably good. Whereas with churn, I think there's more buckets, right? There's more like problems, different things that can go wrong. So.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to take a pause for just a brief second here. We have a few questions from people in chat. Brandon asked this question here. I'll throw it up on the screen. Hey, John, I'm struggling.
This is such a cool software, man. Why didn't you not start this?
I don't know, man.
Okay. Hey, John.
I'll let you read it.
Okay. Hey, John, struggling to find my first client. I'm doing the real estate niche and I'm doing cold emails. Have had 2 calls, but nothing else. Any tips? Yeah. So the best thing that you can do as like a new agency owner, I always say, is like, you could basically just promise the clients that you're going to work with them until they do well. And that's kind of like your small player advantage. So it's like, you can literally email these people and be like, look, I have 100% satisfaction guarantee and I'm going to work with you until this thing works. So I would try to weave that in, because that's kind of what you want to put in place of your case studies. So it's like a question that I get a lot is like, I'm new, no case studies. How do I get clients? Well, you have to think that your biggest advantage, and I guess kind of your biggest disadvantage when you're a new agency owner, is that you're going to work with every single client holding their hand. I remember in the early days, Adam was talking to every single client. Like this dude was on phone calls, on coaching calls, etc. So probably number 1, you need to send more emails. Number 2, you need, like in terms of tactical advice, you need to be on more platforms. You need to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You need to be doing outbound on more platforms. And then you probably need to weave some sort of guarantee in there, because if you're just emailing people, hey, I'm going to get you leads and blah, 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 like everybody's saying that right now. So you have to understand that when everybody else when me and Adam first got started, we bought this coaching program, and one of the coaches said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, when everybody else zigs, you need to zag. So you need to think about what's everybody else saying. Okay, now do the opposite, or not necessarily the opposite, but do something that's going to make you stand out among those people. So I hope that helps. Do more platforms, offer a good guarantee, zig what everybody else zags, and just do more outreach. Outreach is hard. It's a grind. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes man hours. But that's what you got to do to get your first few clients. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And to give like another perspective on this as well, if you follow Gary Vee at all, he has this strategy called like the 0 to 1 strategy, where it's like hand-to-hand combat with people in like the DMs and stuff on just like providing value. So like you find where your ideal client hangs out. Maybe it's a Reddit thread, and I'm actually going to be doing a segment on this relatively soon. Maybe it's a Reddit thread, maybe it's a Facebook group, something along those lines, and you just drop value. And as far as like, hey, like here's some strategies that we're utilizing to, you know, get more leads for real estate clients, and like just give them the playbook, man. Like don't feel like you need to hold anything back, because at the end of the day, like it's hard for them to do that stuff themselves because it's so time, like they have a time constraint, right? And like that's a big part of the problem that you guys solve as an agency owner, is like they just don't have time. Like they got to take calls, they have to, you know, they have to go to the showings, all of that stuff, right? And so you go hand-to-hand combat a little bit for your first few clients to actually like provide value to them and start to build like this market positioning, right? And that's what John and Lee Jolt does so well, is like they have a great market positioning to actually help clients, right? But it took time for them to build to that. So don't be afraid to get in the trenches a little bit for these first couple and provide some value, find out where your ideal client's hanging out, and just be active there, be present, become a leader in that space, and you will 100% land clients. But hey, at the end of the day, like that takes time, right? So give yourself a long enough time prize, and don't feel like this is something that needs to be done in, you know, a 30-day window. Like give yourself, you know, 3-6 months to like really position yourself well in this space.
Yeah. Totally.
Cool. Sareem had a question as well. How do you, I'll show it here.
Yeah.
How do you get past new realtors on sales calls? And then you follow it up when they say they just started, and then how do I close them?
Yeah. So there's two kind of like frameworks that you're going to use to basically get somebody's business, right? And this is a kind of a Cole Gordon idea. It's like, number one is like you go problems first, right? So it's like we're talking about how long you've been doing this, what are you struggling with, et cetera, et cetera. You guys I think everybody understands that. That's pretty simple. And then there's also like a goals first, where you're talking about their goals, what they want to achieve, what do they think is going to get in the way of them achieving that, et cetera. So that's kind of the syntax you have to use when you're selling to somebody that's new, because what happens is like a lot of people get on a call with somebody new, and then they're like, they don't know what questions to ask, because they're used to asking, how many deals are you doing a month? How long you been in the business? What kind of income are you making? They're used to asking those questions, but you can't ask that to somebody who's brand new, right?
Yeah.
And then I find a good way to qualify new people is understanding what they did before. And then, so like Josh, if you and I were talking, right, and you told me that, you know, you used to be a, I don't know, physical therapist. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, Josh. So like, when it comes to scaling up your real estate business, how many deals a month do you need to be at in order to match the income you are making from your physical therapy gig? And if you tell me like, oh, like 2 to 3, well, then I know that you probably have some sort of income, or you've made money in the past and you've probably stockpiled some of it. And then another thing is like, don't count people out just because they're new. You know, they had to pay to get their license. They had to pay fees and brokerage fees, and they had to pay to get access to the IDX or the MLS. So like, I think the thing with new real estate agents, a lot of people count them out and just figure they don't have any money. But like, new real estate agents need help more than anyone. And I'd say about 70% of our clients that we've served at Lead Jolt have been in the business less than 1 year. So don't count out new agents just because they're new. And then don't assume anyone doesn't have money, because I tell you what, I've talked to new agents that were able to enroll, pay in full. And I've talked to agents that have been in the business 20 years that didn't have a dime. So it doesn't mean anything based off just how long they've been in the business. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Boom. There you go. Dropping bombs over here. Love it. So kind of just like continuing our conversation, And if you guys have more questions, feel free to drop them, and we'll answer them in when we can here. I know like churn has been one of the struggles, but also, at a certain point during like the agency times, like we kind of hit like these like segments of burnout. What have you been doing? I know I know the answer to this already, but like, what are some things that you've been doing to kind of just like mitigate some of that burnout, like getting some of that like joy back into entrepreneurship? Because I know for a while there, like even you were having some anxiety, and it's like not everything was all sunshine and rainbows. Like what have been some of your tools that you've been utilizing recently to help mitigate some of that?
Yeah. So big one for me is I started playing the guitar. That helped me a bunch. It just became something that I was super interested in, and that you can like always get better at, right? So that's kind of the fun thing. Is like you're it's not like a video game where you beat it and then you're done. It's like, it's a person. Like I've met people that like, even just in the little bit of time that I've been playing guitar, that people have played for 40, 50 years, right? And they're still not, they haven't mastered it yet. So that's really fun for me. Another thing is just like gym. Gym has been so big for me. I know that me and you will see each other at the gym sometimes, and I'll always mess with you. But dude, the gym is just like, it's just so big. And the funny thing is, I remember, people would say things like, "Well, if I don't go to the gym, I don't feel good," or whatever, and I'd be like, that's crap. But in reality, it's like that's true. Once you get in a routine of doing it, you don't want to live without it, and it's such a big like piece of your life. So that's really been helpful. And me and Adam have just been trying to have fun. Like I think that a lot of times we feel like your business has to just be, grinding teeth, but like, we just try to have fun. We try to introduce fun when we can. We try to introduce fun for our team. And then just coming back to like zooming out and just being grateful. Because like, there was times where I just like the dream was just to be self-employed, and like I didn't want to have to go, work a regular 9 to 5 job. And then now it's kind of like, I don't mean this. I mean this in the most humble way possible, but I'm a lot of levels past that. And so I think that like a good thing is just like to recenter yourself and realize like, dang, look where I've come from, and just be grateful. So I think that's the good answers there.
100%. I want to talk about a little bit about culture. But before we talk about culture, this is a good opportunity to tell our audience to go like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Would appreciate it. Helps get around to more agency owners. If you guys are an agency owner, we post a lot of content about growing agencies, building agencies. So hit the subscribe button, turn on some notifications if you want to see when we're posting videos. We have live streams hitting next week. We have 2 live streams next week. We got YouTube videos hitting almost weekly now. So follow along in the journey. It's fun posting content around building agencies, and hopefully you guys find some of that content helpful. But kind of chatting around culture a little bit more, John. You guys have a fully remote team. Not an easy thing to manage as far as a culture piece goes. I think we've talked about this on a previous live stream, but a good topic to hit on again. How are you guys cultivating more culture within your team?
Yeah. So our big thing is like just trying to have fun. Like me and Adam are guys that want to have fun. I mean, I don't think like at this stage we're trying to like, we're not trying to make Lead Jolt like, Amazon or anything like that. We're just trying to have fun, enjoy ourselves. So I think for us, it's like, that's been a big thing. It's just trying to enforce like the fun culture. Another thing is like just the way we facilitate our meetings, and then the way we do Slack. So it's like the way we want to celebrate wins, the way we want to get excited about stuff. When new clients come on board, we all want to be celebrating and patting each other on the back. And then Adam and I have tried to do a good job of, I remember reading this in a book one time, that like people are very often unappreciated. Like a lot of people are even appreciated and underappreciated in their own homes. So we try to do a really good job of when somebody does something well, being like, hey, great work, good job. And then we try to have a really big like open door policy where, nobody's above calling somebody else out. And I think that keeps everybody pretty accountable as well. And then I think another big thing is like, we love bonuses and incentives, and like, just giving people the opportunity to make more money. I think that's kind of the main stuff. That's kind of the main stuff. I think that I remember reading another thing in a book. It's like culture is not like a culmination of words. It's like It's more so the way things perform and the way everybody behaves and that kind of thing, right? Because it's like, everybody can have their core values, but if it's, and then Adam used to really get upset about this a lot when we first getting started. He'd be like, well, we don't say our core values, and like some of the people may not even like know them. And I would always be like, dude, what's more important, that they know them or that they like act within them, right? So at the end of it is obviously important, that the people know the core values and stuff. But of course,
100%.
I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying like if you had to choose between one of the two, nobody knows the core values, but everybody acts in alignment with them, or everybody doesn't act in alignment with them, like which one would you choose, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it's like that's kind of our main things, and we're still working on this, still trying to fix this.
Yeah, of course.
And still trying to.
Yeah. And I think it's super important as you're praising the team, as you're giving feedback to the team, tough conversations, whatever it is, like to circle those core values in. So I think it's really important for your leadership team to know them and act them out, but also like bring them, full circle with the rest of the team of like, when someone does an excellent job, okay, great. Like, we praise them, but like, let's highlight the core value that they acted out, that it aligns with our company culture. Right. And then, when someone's messing up, like one of the things that we learned from Matt Monero, from Burn the Ships and Judge was, when people are not performing to a standard, or they're doing something that is outside of our core values, we utilize the core value as a position to have a tough conversation with that person of like, hey, it really bothers me, when this happens and it affects, one of our core values is personal happiness, is like, it affects my personal happiness. Like, it makes me not want to show up to work when you don't follow the KPI, when you don't follow the SOP. It's like, this is what it's affecting, and it's affecting not just, me, but the rest of the team, right? And it's affecting everyone's personal happiness. So when you can reflect it back on a core value, oftentimes those conversations hit a little bit deeper. Like, oh shoot, like I'm not in alignment with the culture here. So really important to circle those core values in. It's like, I totally agree with you. It's like, memorizing them is one thing. It's like, great. Like if you know them, awesome. But it's like, are we actually acting them out?
Yeah, for sure.
Adam had a long one here. Once you understand that your team will have a life outside of out of work, the culture gets way better. Have to get hyped about the stuff they love doing outside of work, and they get hyped about work. True.
Yeah.
And then Sareem, I think, asked a question here. Do you take notes on the prospect when a sales call? Go with it.
You gotta have notes.
Do you have like a note framework at all of like things that you're like trying to uncover? Because I know we have our note framework that we utilize, but
nobody's ever asked me this.
No?
Yeah, no, nobody's ever asked me this before. Okay.
Just the best interviewer.
So, yeah, I do. I really do. So I'm really just trying to understand a few key things. And I think I've done enough times now where it's like, I can kind of tell like what questions need to be asked and what don't. Some calls you're going to get away with like not asking specific questions. Others you're going to need to ask them. So for me, I just do Google Doc, and then I basically do bullet points. And actually, a lot of people don't know this either, but me and Adam, when we did like our real estate coaching offer back in 2020, I literally would do a Google Doc, would write everybody's problems out. And then once it was time to pitch, I would share the Google Doc with all the problems and pain points on this Google Doc. And then I would type them up of like what we're going to do for them. It was a really interesting way of selling. It actually worked pretty well. But yeah, that's kind of it. Trying to understand how many deals a month they're doing, how many they want to be doing, how much money they're making per deal. I really try to get into like numbers and economics. I'm sorry, I know this vacuum is going in the background, but that's kind of the main thing. It's normally, 5, 10, 15 lines. And then I'll always look back and realize like the calls where I have more notes are normally the calls that go better. The calls where you have less notes, normally the ones that go worse. So
yeah, we follow a frame, and everyone has their own frameworks, right? Like Hormozy has this closer framework. If you haven't seen that video, I'd recommend looking that up. We utilize something called BANT, BANT, budget, authority, need, timeline. Like those are things that we need to know before like actually pitching them on anything. But something that I actually learned from my friend Corey Jackson, a new friend actually. He is used to work at Traffic or Sales Mentor. Now works for Ashton Shanks over at HumanX and actually sells his agency services and HumanX as well. but he was telling me about the WWWAT method, which is what YY, a firm tie down. And it was actually really a unique standpoint, and essentially kind of like what he laid out. And I watched him do it live on a sales call. Was he would find a problem or he find a need, right? Of like, so like that's the what is like, okay, like what's the actual problem? So let's say not getting enough leads, for your real estate agent was the problem. Like, hey, I'm not getting enough leads, or I'm not getting enough book calls. He would ask, why that was important to them, right? And so he'd dive in and be like, cool, like why do you need more leads? Like why is getting more booked appointments important to you? And they'd give him a pretty surface level answer, and it would be something along the lines of, hey, like we need to close more deals, right? Like that's the whole point behind it. Okay, cool. Like I totally understand that. Like, a lot of our agents come to us for getting more closed deals. But why is closing more deals important to you? And then all of a sudden there would be like, and he said that there's always a tone shift when they give you the true reason behind, why they want to get more leads, close more deals. And that tone shift, he said, is really important for them to be able to have a good understanding of like, this is the real reason that they're here for the service, right? And all of a sudden they go into some like deep rooted thing of like, well, right now my kid's in a horrible school, and I would love to send them to private school if possible. It's like, I need to land this deal so we can pay for X, right? And it's like, oh shoot, like that's the reason right there. And all of a sudden there's this tone shift. And then from there, he just reaffirms this. He's like, okay, awesome. Like actually that's a very powerful statement. Like, so let me get this straight. Like you need to land more deals so you can, essentially pay for X, Y, and Z. And like, yeah, exactly. Like, awesome. And he uses that as a tie down later in the conversation of like, hey, this is the true reason why they're here, right? So I thought it was really interesting. I actually watched it live on a call with him, and it was powerful. He closed a 15K deal right there in front of me, and ended up getting a 2-pay on it, and it was like, geez, like it was wild, man. Like it was a very powerful moment to see like something like that. If like you really get down to the true core of why someone wants to buy, chances are you'll get them to buy, because it's an emotional decision. It's not a logical decision, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we have the Google Doc. It's not really like, it's not like a framework. It's like I start with a blank Google Doc. I maybe didn't explain that well. So yeah.
PJ asked,
You're gonna have to answer this one, Josh.
How would you close NYSE companies? I don't even know what NYSE stands for. Okay. What is that?
New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I think, public companies.
Yeah.
Neither was any public companies.
Gotcha. So okay, I see what he's talking about. Okay. So PJ, on the larger deals. So my partner has had a lot of deals. So I've been able to talk with him on closing like large accounts. He had clients like Yahoo, Petco, Northwestern Mutual. Some big boys in the space. And really it's connections, right? Like you think about how the top businesses find their marketing agencies, and they find the people that they want to work with. Well, everyone's got like an inner circle at that level. So C-suite employees, whether it's a chief marketing officer, like they talk with other C-suite employees at different companies, right? And it's like, hey, who are you using for content? Who are you using for paid media? Who are you using for email? Right? They go and find those people. And essentially, it's like you're not going to really land these deals through cold DMs, cold emails. It is literally being in the right rooms at the right time. And so that's the importance for if you're trying to close Fortune 500, Fortune 100 type companies, like you have to be in the rooms with these people. And so that's the power of going to events. And it's like, yeah, there's a high ticket on it, but high ticket equals, high dollar amount. It's like my partner's closed, 100K per month deals with Yahoo, and, and it's one of those things that it's like, if you want those types of deals, you have to be in the right rooms, first of all. And then from there, it kind of expands, your circle starts expanding, and you get those introductions through those current clients. You set up affiliate referral deals with them, and you give them a nice healthy kickback, because you got to think like a CMO of a Fortune 500 company. It's like, if they bring you one affiliate, that's a 40K per month deal. I mean, they're getting a substantial kickback from that. Like that could be if it's a 10% kickback, I mean, they're making an extra 4K on one deal a month, and they're not doing anything. They're just making an introduction. right? So it's very beneficial for them to have those types of affiliate deals in place if those are the companies you're going for. But really, to get your foot in the door with those people, there's a couple things you really have to have in alignment. Positioning is so important. Like if you don't look like you can do what you say you can do, they're not going to buy from you. It's just, they do look at that, and like little things like from your website to how you're pitching, they understand. And the first time Nicholas, we talked about this on another agency therapy, pitched a big brand like that, they essentially got laughed out of the room, right? They're like, you clearly don't know what you're doing. And they're like, fair. and it was an embarrassing moment. And you're going to have those when you first pitch your large brands, but positioning is really important. Like you really got to be able to deliver a high level of result. And then also you need those introductions. Those introductions come from getting in the right room and meeting those types of people. So can't be afraid to spend a little bit of money to get into those right rooms. It's very pay to play. So if those are the types of clients you're going after, that's where you got to be. Adam said the sales notes are great to get over the fulfillment team, so that so the team can align what they want with deliverables 100%. Here's a cool question. Oh, wait, no, wrong one. This one. Yo, Adam and John, why don't you guys have a sick car?
I think we just like other things. So yeah. I think, I don't know. I don't know if Adam will have a problem with me saying this. I'm like me and him, I guess we kind of like have the account together, but I'm like a VIP person at Louis Vuitton. So like, that's kind of our thing. We like shopping. So it's like ridiculous. Like when we look back at like how much shit me and him have bought at Louis Vuitton. So that's like, we're into stuff like that. I mean, I'm just like, I like cars, but it's also like, I'm just not in a hurry to get a car, mainly because if you guys understood where Josh and I lived, you would understand that there's really no need to have a nice car, unfortunately, because it's like Josh and I live within walking distance of like more places than you can imagine. Like it's actually ridiculous where Josh, and I don't mean this in like a
Well, it's just we like I've driven once in the last 4 weeks. Like I do leave the apartment, but it's like I can Instacart, groceries. Like Whole Foods is 2 blocks away. Like I literally walk there if I wanted to. The gym is, we have a gym inside of our building. And also there's the gym that I go to is 5-minute walk from where I'm at. There's all the food that you can imagine, walking distance from where we're at. So like for me, like, I don't know, I just don't need a sick car. I'm also not like a big car guy. I just don't drive enough to really appreciate them. I totally get people that do love them. And I think eventually, like when I live outside of a downtown area, to potentially get something like that. But for me right now, it's just not what I'm focused on. I find joy in other things. Like I'd much rather take a trip. I'd much rather live in a dope apartment. Like I really care about my living space because this is where I spend a majority of my time. Right. And also like we invest very heavily in coaching and very heavily into events as well. So it's like we have a lot of travel costs. And so for me, it's like I would rather go to one more event that's going to land me 1 to 2 deals than going to, than having a car and not being able to go to that event.
Yeah. And I think another thing you guys have to understand, like, this is what I want every single one of you guys to really think through, is most people buy cars because it benefits their personal brand and they're able to sell more of their offer because of the car. Sure. So most people can justify the car just off of business.
And there are scrappy. I mean, there's scrappy ways to write them off too. Like for us, like the agency that we ran was a creative agency, so our CEO had nice cars. I mean, they're 100% write off. So it's like for us, like it did make sense then. And but at the same time, it's like I think the main point of the story is like I don't know. I don't want one. Like like the upkeep on them, all of that. Like there are certain cars that are better than others, but supercars do take a decent amount of upkeep, and I don't have time to do that stuff. I don't want to do that stuff. So
I think I don't know. I feel pretty strongly about that. I think most people get them because they get more business or clients or
Yeah.
so for instance, like I have a buddy, Richard, he has a coaching program and he bought a Lambo and he told me it was like ridiculous how much the sales went up just because he got this car because he's kind of selling like a, you know, person like he's his brand, right? Whereas if Adam or I get a car, it's really not going to help our business very much. So it's like that's kind of like the double whammy where it's like that doesn't really make sense. Number one, I don't really need one. Number two, it's not really going to provide me a lot of value or help me make more money by getting one. And it's like cars are cool, but it's not like my main thing right now. So.
Another question here from PJ. If you started from scratch, what niche would you target?
Yeah. I mean, I think that like, I know that you'll want me to give like a direct answer. There is really no direct answer because like there's different niches for everybody. But I would say find a niche where they need help. There's a decent amount of them and they make a lot of money per sale. You know, you don't want to help people that make $30 per sale or like, and I can tell you like, for instance, like right off the rip, restaurants, it's a terrible niche. That's why you don't see a lot of people doing restaurants. It's hard to track. They don't make a lot of money per deal. They don't normally have large marketing budgets. So you want to find people that can make a lot of money per deal. You want to find people that need help. And maybe that's a growing industry as well. The good thing about real estate is it's a growing industry. So there's always going to be new clients coming in. And then, yeah, and like another thing people really worry about a lot is like saturation. I don't really worry about that too much because you just got to create a better offer and better product than everybody. I think that's kind of like the game. You know, that's any business. I feel like I think a lot of times agency owners get too romantic. Like you're not going to be Microsoft. You're not going to create some new thing that nobody's ever heard of, more than likely. So, you know, if there's other agency owners in the niche, don't let that scare you off. Just use that as an excuse to work harder. So.
Cool. So Raym had another question here. Let's say I start off my framework by saying, hey, ... this is not a sales call. Just trying to see where you're at right now, where you're trying to get to and see what's stopping you from getting there.
Is that like you're saying, is that good?
I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't start my framework off like that. Normally we do like to set an agenda at the beginning. And normally it's, hey, you know, just to kind of set the agenda for the meeting. This is what we normally like to do is, you know, first little bit of the conversation. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, what you guys have going on, maybe some of the hurdles you're trying to jump over right now. And then the second half of the call, I'd love to tell you about what we do and potentially how we can help. Sound good? And then we kind of go into it from there, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you're on a sales call, like it's fine. And you know, we're probably not going to address that. But it's like they are on a sales call. It's like if we have the solution for you, I'm going to pitch you on it because I'm convicted that it works and that I can help you, right? So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know, John, if you have a different take, but
yeah, I agree. Because I don't have GHL doesn't offer the nurturing aspect. Yeah, you could nurture leads through GHL. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you just haven't figured out GHL yet, but yeah, you can do all the nurturing of leads through GHL.
Where are you seeing that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think Michael Schreiber, I don't know if he's still in here. I don't think he does any appointment setting for his clients. I think they have to call the leads themselves. So it's like, I don't know, dude. The biggest problem most people have in the beginning is like they're too worried about what other people are doing and what other people are offering. Well, that is somewhat important. You need to just do what you can do. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't walk in the gym day one and be like, oh, damn, I can't bench press 300 pounds. You just do what you can. And that's the same with running a business. You just have to do what you can. And doing what you can is better than doing nothing at all.
Let's see. Brandon asked, John, is there anything that you read or would look at to craft a better email or outreach for real estate? I'm mainly focused on luxury real estate, if that matters.
Yeah, I think it does matter because luxury real estate's different. I think if you can brand yourself towards luxury leads, luxury listings, like that definitely helps. And then obviously if you can get a big case study that everybody knows, then you'll have a really good, like if you can get somebody from like $1 million listing or selling Las Vegas or one of those shows, that would be sick. And then you could use them as a huge case study. So that's probably what I would try to do.
let's move down to Brandon's second question here. If you had to start from scratch, this is a good one. If you had to start from scratch on 30 days, how would you go from 0 to 10K or 100K? Let's say 0 to 10K.
This is like when me and Adam are like sitting around, and it's like, hey Adam, if you were dropped in the forest, like how quickly could you get out? And there's all these other variables, right? What do I have with me? So, okay, do I have any resources whatsoever?
No resources.
No resources. Okay. I would just do a ton of outreach. That's kind of where I would start. I mean, I don't really think it's that complicated. Maybe I'm just like, I mean, I don't think I'm a super genius by any means, but like, I don't think it's that complicated. You just need to do a bunch of outreach. You need to get on discovery calls. You need to set meetings. You need to sell. Like, that's it. And if the question is like, how much outreach? A lot of people ask, how much outreach? How much outreach should I do? How much do you have time for? Like me and Adam used to, in the beginning, we just did outreach all day, and it was awful. And I remember waking up and just being like, this sucks. This is so terrible. Sending Facebook messages, sending Instagram messages, doing all this stuff, but you just have to do it if you want to get meetings and if you want to get clients. So I would do as much of that as possible. First couple clients that I enrolled, I would immediately reinvest that money that I made back into hiring a team to do this for me. So like a couple of VAs to start doing the outreach. And then I'd scale across multiple accounts. I'd get multiple Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram accounts, and obviously multiple email accounts. And then I would just try to figure out how I could do the most possible outreach possible, get discovery meetings set up demos.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a similar position. My start into it was a little bit different because I was in a few established companies before jumping into entrepreneurship. So for me, I just reached out to people that I knew in the space that I built relationships with, and I just landed them as my first clients. So for me, like
still outreach in a way, right?
Yeah, it's still outreach, right? And so it's like within the first 10 days of me running my business, I had 4 paying clients that were, paying me a couple grand a month, So and then we hit our first 10K month within the first, I think, 60 days. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. John, which we know the answer to this already. Will you ever create a SaaS company?
So we're creating one now. So yeah, I would say yes.
So, and in the midst of it, for Lead Jolt, correct?
Yep. Yeah, for Lead Jolt and for mortgage.
Does the software have an actual name?
It's just going to be Lead Jolt and mortgage meetings.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. So he's rocking SaaS company right now.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it Lead Daddy.
Lead Daddy.
Cool. Yeah.
Lead Daddy. Like that.
Adam, can you see if Appointment Daddy's taken, bro? Lead Daddy.
I love it, man.
Oh my lead's going into Lead Daddy. Okay. Cool. What I'm doing right now is going under Realtors Best. How many of you guys work with buyers or sellers? And they'll say, yep. I don't know, man. Again, you got to zig when everybody else zigs. It's like, I don't know. I just think that I don't think that's compelling enough to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, agreed.
I like to be I like conversational. I know we've talked about this before, Sarum, but like I like conversational. So when we're like sending messages, I'll be like, hey, are you still in real estate full time? How's your business with the market right now? What areas are you serving primarily? And then you kind of get to know them a little bit and then pitch. So
yeah, 100%. One thing on that side as well, for me, like I love our strategy that we're rolling out right now for our lead generation. So we're sending about 40 to 50 outreaches a day across LinkedIn right now for our lead gen strategy, and we're utilizing more of a research method when it comes to our outreach, like our first outreach message. And basically how it goes is, hey, I know this is random, but notice that you were in a similar space to us. We just wanted to reach out and figure out where agency owners are currently spending their time during Q4. We're putting together a study, and anyone that's nice enough to reply to us, we're going to create the study and send it back to the people that replied to us. So if you have a second to just give us a little insight on what you're doing right now, that'd be awesome. Thanks. And
you're actually creating the study, right?
Yeah, we're actually creating the study. We're not.
Okay, so that's the kicker, right? That's the kicker.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's so many people that are like, hey, just run an ebook funnel. And then the ebook is like, you're going to get on a phone call with them. It's like, like you're not like your deception is your immediate.
It is not deception at all. We are actually creating a study around it. And we'll probably publish it at the end of Q4. Cool. But it's like we're collecting data during Q4. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll just it opens the conversation for them. And what's great is like they'll start dropping actual problems that they're having within their agencies. Like, hey, I'm spending a lot of time here because I'm not able to get my fulfillment up to speed. I'm not able to, we're churning too many clients. So we're really focusing down on systems. So it opens the door for you to send maybe another resource, or even ask them to, hey, we've seen this across a lot of the businesses that we work with. We'd love to book a call with you if you have some extra time. Does that sound like something you'd be up to? Right. And so from there, like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I would love some help with this. Would love to get a third party perspective. And then it puts us into a discovery call, and we call it an agency audit session. And we come in and we, of course, try to drop some value at the beginning, but normally we can drop enough value to where they're like, so what exactly do you guys do? How does this work? Like, if I wanted to work with you. And it's like, I essentially turned a very cold lead into a warm one within a couple messages and a discovery call.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
So that's what we're doing right now.
Cool.
We'll answer one more question and then we'll wrap it up here. Favorite tools / tech stack for cold emails. I don't send too many cold emails. I don't even know what we would use for that. I don't know what you guys use, but we use ActiveCampaign for our newsletter, which I don't know if you could use that for cold emails, but I don't know. Are you using a platform for cold emails?
I like Limlist, but I know there's another one, Instantly, that people use. I like Limlist because I like the guy who started Limlist, Ski Kume. I think he's really cool. If you got to check his content out, Josh. He's legit.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome. So they have like a $150 million valuation across their businesses. He's just a cool dude. He was in Nashville, bro. And I saw him. It was down at the food hall. I saw him and I was like, I'm not going to be weird and like go up and speak to him, but I really wish I would have now. But but they're killing it. Limlist, Instantly. I've heard of Reply.io as well. I've heard that one's good.
Yeah.
So
biggest thing is just doing it,
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Me and Adam, we struggled with this a lot in the beginning of like, don't get too fancy. If it works, it works. Asana, Slack, we love ClickUp, but it's like whatever works for you. I mean, Asana, Monday, ClickUp, like whatever works for you, just use it. But
yeah.
If you're gonna work with ClickUp, use Josh's affiliate.
Yeah, use my affiliate. Oh, I get a nice little fat kickback. All right, last one, and then we'll wrap it up here. How would I be able to get my foot in the door with big names like I think you mentioned Ryan's, right? To compete with whoever they're already working with. I don't know if that's for me or you, but
I think the obvious answer is see what the people that they're working with are already doing, and then figure out how you can do it better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know, this is I know everybody wants tactical answers to these questions, but it's like, it's sometimes hard to give a tactical answer. So I think the best thing you can do is identify current problems that they have and then figure out a way to explain to them what they're doing and why it's not working as well as it could be. And then show them how you can fix it. Basis of selling anybody.
Oh, 100%. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. If you guys wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would appreciate it, man. Like, it helps us out so much. We're really trying to grow this channel, trying to give good agency information and all for free, right? So please take some time. If you guys want to see John back on at a certain point in time, drop some thumbs up in the chat. Would appreciate it. Would love to have John back on at a certain point in time. Maybe we'll do one. I would love to do one with like a couple of different agency owners as well. So maybe we bring Mike Schreiber back on. We bring on maybe another agency owner in the lead gen space that's crushing it right now. And we just maybe we can get Stevie Johnston on. We can do like a whole jam session on specifically lead generation in a couple different niches. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I love that. John M. Danes on Instagram. DANES.
Any other places that they can find you or that you're active right now?
We'll just be on Instagram till this one gets shut down.
I'm trying to get you on the Twitter game, man. I'm telling you, it's a good spot right now.
Twitter's cool.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. There you go. Sareem plugged it for us. There we go. There it is right there at Legend. John M. Danes. Give him a follow. and appreciate you guys coming. We will see you. We'll be back on, I believe, Tuesday with Mr. Sammy G Fit. We're going to be talking for all of you ecom. Yeah, for all of you ecom folk out there. A little Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy when it comes to your biology. So we're talking fitness, we're talking nutrition, and making sure that you guys are primed and ready to go for the busiest season of the year, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So we'll see you on that one. Guys, thank you so much for coming, and we will see you.